Hi friends! There's a cruel lack of Final Fantasy in D&D, and to offset that,
Cap.
I put myself on a mission, and that mission is to forcibly shove Final Fantasy Kingdom Hearts style into every D&D homebrew game I can find. I'm a major geek. I've been a massive Final Fantasy fan since I can remember. I've played every game, I've maxed every level in every MMO. I've read every book, every manga. I watched the terrible anime series. I have a tattoo of Cloud. I'm totally die-hard, ride or die for Square Enix. So when D&D came into my life, I was in high school. I, of course, fell hard into it. I think my first 2.5e character was a Cloud knockoff I used to just fangirl over. And after playing a ton of D&D, I started DMing. And DMing, if you learn to do it online, you get immediately drowned in a sea of homebrew. Like, hell, I think there was even a McChicken sandwich race homebrew, and I still really want to try it. I didn't see much Final Fantasy stuff, though, honestly, which is super surprising, at least for 5e. Fourth edition, though, there's a huge database with a gigantic community still creating Final Fantasy stuff for it. But the problem is I don't like fourth edition, and even more importantly, I don't have any friends that play it. So it's a super great tool, but 5e's where everyone's at right now. So that's where we start. So I went on the hunt and actually came up with some totally kick-ass stuff. Big shout out to sorenofasgard who created it. It's absolutely fantastic. I'm not gonna stop preaching it until it's a household edition. Now it's a huge read, and to do what I can to help, I'm gonna go deep dive into each class one by one. And where else to start but my favorite class ever, the Dancer.
The Dancer job first came into the picture in Final Fantasy V. There, it was a low-budget bard with weak physical abilities but able to cast magic and perform dances that produced random effects. Dancer got way more time in the spotlight in Final Fantasy XI, where I fell in love with it. These dual-wielding, enemy-enfeebling, life-draining, sub-healing powerhouses became the top sub-job for most solo builds because of their sustainability. In Final Fantasy XIV, they found their final form, where I believe Dancer is meant to stay. Specializing in range throwing abilities, they can cast magic while empowering and inspiring their friends all along the way. Into D&D, Dancers play a well-rounded as they've been in all the past games. They're all about flair and assistance, but deadly, sort of a mix of a rogue and bard class. Dancers perform their magical feats not through staves or rods, but rather specifically made jewelry worn across their wrists and ankles. As they dance around the battlefield, they move their bodies in specific patterns to manipulate the magical power within their bodies to gather magic in the environment. Once they've gathered enough magic, they keep moving, keeping their spells active and channeling magic even further. When building a Dancer, you're going to focus on your dex, and then your charisma. They'll have saves in both those. As well, Dancers get a d8 hit die and can use light armor. Weapon-wise, they can use all simple weapons, plus whips, rapiers, scimitars, short swords, and chakrams. Well, chakrams are kind of like a built-in hand axe. They have a d6 attack, they're light, they're finesse, and they cost about 15 gold pieces. At level 1, with Dazzling Dance, as you fight, you build up towards empowering your movements even further. As you use your attack option against hostile creatures, you gain what's called a Dazzling Charge. Now you can hold as many Dazzling Charges as your Charisma modifier is. Your charges dissipate after a minute after a combat ends, and you can spend one of those charges to do a dash or disengage as a bonus action. Also beginning at level 1, once per turn, you can deal additional 1d6 damage to a creature that you hit with a ranged attack. This functions just like a rogue sneak attack ability but with throwing weapons. As you level up, you can see the chart how many d6s your flourish gets. You can do 1 per turn, and you can't do it if you have disadvantage. Spellcasting gets unlocked at level 2. Using jewelry like bangles on their arms and legs, they can use their charisma modifier for their attacks and spell save DCs. Dancers know as many spells as their charisma bonus plus half their level rounded down, ranger style. There's a full list of Dancer magic that I'll have attached below. What's so rad about Dancer magic is it doesn't take any verbal components, meaning you can legitimately cast in complete silence. The downside is, to dance, you have to move. To cast a Dancer spell, you have to forego 10 feet of movement alongside of the spell slot that you spend. meaning if your speed is changed to 0, like you're being grappled or restrained, you will be unable to cast. Additionally, at level 2, you can spend an hour attuning to 2 finesse weapons, allowing these to be returned to you after you throw them, which is easily my favorite feature. Your ABIs come at the usual every 4 levels, but at 5th we do get Uncanny Dodge to use our reaction to have some more damage, and arguably the best ability, Evasion, at 7th level, letting us just limbo underneath fireballs. Beginning at 10th, we've learned to empower our allies. We can spend a dance charge to use the help action as a bonus action, and even more, I can spend another charge to add our charisma modifier to their new roll. At 13th level, as an action, we can perform a dance to create a random effect. You would roll a d20 and use the Bewildering Grace charge to see what can happen, and shit gets wild on here. You can use as many times as your charisma modifier is before you have to take a long rest. Beginning at 14th level, when you cast a spell, you can then gain dazzling charges equal to half the level slot that you spent. Then at 18th level, attackers cannot attack you with advantage unless you're under the certain conditions: grappled, incapacitated, paralyzed, or petrified. Additionally, when you are knocked prone, it only costs 5 feet of movement to get back up. Lastly, at level 20, when you roll initiative, you automatically gain 2 dazzling charges. Dances are completely unique. There's never one that's like the other, and their subclasses prove it. The Paragon seeks overall mastery of the dance, while the Peacebringer hopes to relieve their allies, and then the Exotic Wonder seeks to mix their dances with a martial prowess. As a Paragon, you've divided your dance training as an art form itself. Your singular focus will allow you to reach a mastery a few would even hope to achieve. Beginning at 3rd level, as a bonus action, you can spend up to 2 dazzling charges to inspire an ally that's 5 feet from you. Your ally can add the bonus to their attack roll, saving throw, ability check, equal to twice the number of charges you use to inspire them. This number increases at 10th level, where you can spend as many dance charges as you want. So basically, you give them a +4 until level 10, and then you can spend more charges to give them even more pluses. Beginning at 6th level, when you cast a spell, you can choose to spend the dazzling dance charges equal to the spell slot instead of actually using the spell slot. It's similar to the sorcerer ability. And at 11, when you make a concentration check, you can spend a charge to roll that with advantage. And finally, at 15th, you can combine concentration spells. You can cast a second spell that requires concentration without ending the first. You'll use your action to spend a dance charge and the second concentration spell slot. Then, each turn you'll concentrate on both spells after you use your action and spend a dance charge each time. With Peacebringer, you've learned effectively to wield restorative spells while dancing across the battlefield, offering relief and joy in even the worst situations. Beginning at level 3, your magical dances are capable of healing wounds. You'll have a pool of healing that replenishes every time you take a long rest. You can restore a number of hit points equal to your dancer level times 5. You can be able to use that pool at any time using your action as long as you're 5 feet from that target. Beginning at 6th level, you've developed even further. When you use your Sucker Swing feature, you can target any number of creatures at least 10 feet away from you. Beginning at 11th level, you can use Aura of Life, Aura of Purity, or Aura of Vitality and cast it without spending a spell slot. You can use this as many times as half your charisma modifier rounded down, and you can get those back at a long rest. Beginning at 15th level, you can spend any dazzling dance charges to restore your healing power. You can trade your dance charges equal to your charisma modifier. The Exotic Wonder incorporates weapons into their dance routines. They mix martial arts knowledge along with graceful steps, creating an awe-inspiring dance that devastates their foes. At level 3, their melee weapon attacks with finesse also activate the Force feature. And they also get to pick up a fighting style. At 6th level, when you attack, you can spend 1 dazzling dance charger to make an additional attack. At 11th level, when you cast a spell, you can use your bonus action to make a melee attack. And finally at 15th level, it gets nasty, being able to spend 4 dazzling dance charges to lower the critical threshold down by 4 on one target.
I love this. A party could have 3 different dancers, and they could all completely play different roles for the party. And I mean, just the base class alone makes you want to play a dancer, but that's because I have a weird thing for throwing weapons. The floors feature is pretty fantastic. It allows the dancer to be useful in any occasion, even when support isn't really an option. They're not held back by circumstances. Want to do damage? Throw some shit at them. Want to cast a spell? Do the Dougie. Want to support someone? Do one of the billion things you can do. The Paragon subclass obviously built on a support role like the Bard, being able to inspire people. Being able to concentrate on 2 spells at once, though, is almost overpowered. It's juicy. I would love to try to haste and slow down people at the same time while I'm just in the background getting it. With the Priest Bringer bringing in a new way to heal, I think is very valuable to D&D. Healing, as I feel now, is mostly just used to pull people out of unconsciousness. Very rarely am I going to heal someone that the next attack won't immediately just outdo. So I like these pull from a pool point types of healing just to add something different than something as incredibly valuable like a slot. Or you can just forget all of it and just go full Ballerina Aragorn with the Exotic Wonder and just hit stuff regularly. What I would change. So the first thing that comes to mind is the Paragon's 15th level ability, being able to concentrate on 2 spells at the same time. Uh, as a DM, immediately I'm a little worried about this, but also, you're level 15. Your character should be gods anyway at this point. Just let them go crazy. I mean, a smart player could break any rule and get in the way, right? So might as well let him do it when he's almost max level. So I originally had a problem with it, but now I think it's super rad and I'm excited to do it. I think the biggest thing that I would change is maybe making the Exotic Wonder subclass a little more spicy. It's a little bland right now, but at the same time, there always has to be that champion class, the one for the player who wants to play, be special, do cool stuff, but doesn't want to be drowned in a sea of features. I just feel like it could be spiced up a little bit. Maybe you could spend your dazzling dance charges to do a smite ability. That'd be kind of cool. But I like that it gives the melee option. That's pretty sick. Well, folks, that was Stancer. I hope you enjoyed the video. Looks like the next lineup, we're going to go from an expert class to a melee class. The next one is Samurai. Thank you so much, guys. If you want more Homebrew, please subscribe to the channel. If you liked the video, I would love for you to give me a like. And if you want to pick what class I do next and say screw it to Samurai, give us a comment. If I get over 5 comments on one class, I will skip the one I'm doing and do that one instead. Meanwhile, you can see what else is going on at rollforbooty.com. You can also buy any of the t-shirts that I wear, either me or mini-me wear at rollforbooty.com. Most of them are less than $10. And I think that's it. Thanks, guys.